excited to have you this July and to our
Yes.
workshop for strength
hmm
and the conditioning, especially for dancers. Before we start off conversation, please could you introduce us? Introduce us. Who is Iestyn? Tell me, tell me.
Yeah. So my name's Iestyn James. I have worked for a PT for about 2 years now. And basically, my background is I have a very sportive, active lifestyle ever since I was a kid. I participate in a lot of sport, competitive sport, such as rugby and rowing. And then I was also introduced into ballet and theatre as a very young kid too. I managed to luckily get to quite a high level at the time in the sporting field. So in rugby, I represented my nation for a little bit under the Welsh Exiles, and academy level as well. And then in rowing, I was very fortunate to be a national winner as an older teenager. But ever since then, ever since then, it's kind of been my field. So something that I've always been um, pursuing and admiring from teachers and coaches I've had throughout my life of long this idea of longevity, so training for the long term. So as my life has changed and I've stopped competing in sport now, um, not only am I always thinking about, trying to be better for myself mentally and physically as well, it's also being able to do that for as long as I can. So that's where I then studied into strength conditioning, rehab, and massage. Quite a long-winded university title, but that was at Cardiff Metropolitan University. And again, I was very fortunate to have some really great insight and really great coaches and lecturers who inspired me very heavily on the aspect of coaching. So from that, then obviously, I always was an enthusiast of ballet and in theatre, and I participated in that when I was a lot younger. And then I stopped due to the sport commitments, but then I came back to it, meeting yourself, doing the adult ballet classes, and it kind of reignited something in me in regards to my enthusiasm for ballet and arts. So ever since I participated in your classes, I was also very fortunate for you to offer me a chance to perform with your school, which was very sweet. So I did a few of those. And then I also helped with like teach assistant with you as well, like doing workshops as well. So that was really, really nice. Um, but one thing I did find through myself when I was in the adult classes is obviously ballet is actually very complicated. Like you obviously simplify as you're a very good coach and explain it very well. But performing ballet is, there are complex movements, jumps, body positions, everything, balance. There's so many aspects of it. And when you kind of dive into it, especially as you get older, you have to really take care of your body. So, from my experience of fitness and strength training, and especially I've also had injuries in the past as well. Um, I tried to do my own research in regards to how I can kind of intertwine the knowledge that I have with ballet. So basically injury prevention being the main thing, because obviously you develop a lot of your strength just doing ballet. But then other me either mechanisms of just ways of thinking in regards to how we can prepare ourselves and warm ourselves down, and also strengthen ourselves using lesser extreme movements that will help improve our performance in ballet and injury prevention. So that's kind of where I'm at now with my career. I do personal coaching at the moment, but hopefully I can develop into more of a conditioning coach for more ballet workshops such as this. So I'm very excited for the prospect.
Wonderful. How um your background is quite sporty as well as
Mm.
quite arty. You've got acting background as well as a ballet background. How does the strength and conditioning it's integrated in the ballet world these days?
I think that there are definitely it is very interesting, especially getting to meet some people who are part of the ballet world, either professional company members, dancers themselves, or teachers, or even just enthusiasts like myself, or who are a lot even higher, like donors and stuff. There's more recently there has been more research, academic research into um, conditioning development for ballet dancers because it's quite traditional, right? You know, ballet dancers physically are impeccable. But I think more and more, and especially in the modern era, dancers have to perform so much more, and it's becoming so much more competitive, especially in the professional scene. The injury rates are just skyrocketing, and it's because dancers are so fearful of losing the position that they're in. So whether they perform at the Prix de Lausanne or competitions or auditions, uh, you know, you're worried that you're on that conveyor belt, and if you get injured, you fall away. So a lot of dancers have to kind of fight through the process themselves. Whereas now, and I know especially in the Australian National Ballet, they do a lot more research into how can we kind of take care of our dancers a lot better, um, not try and throw them to the wayside, you know, if they get injured. So I think that in ballet, like I say, for example, turnout. Turnout is a very extreme standing position, like very extreme rotation of the hips and the knees and the ankles. So unless you've slowly built that strength over a very long period of time and you've started a bit later, it's very hard to then put yourself in that position. So by basically regressing those movements, but doing similar movement patterns just to get the fundamental strength and, you know, and tendons as well and alignment, which you also, you know, again, the stuff I'll probably be saying will sound very similar to what you say in your ballet classes about like alignment and moving the correct way. If we can build those foundations more, it'll allow us to perform better movements, like you know, perform a lot better, but also be able to do it for longer as well. So that's where the strength and conditioning comes in because we can kind of regress the extreme movements or the jumps that we're doing, but use the same toolkits that we're using for those movements to strengthen them and to hopefully keep us, you know, preventing any injuries or anything like that.
Oh, I see. So it's not just strengthening, but at the same time, your strength and conditioning will bring about the preventing the injury.
Yes, preventing injury, hopefully being able to and you know, hopefully, you know, doing stuff like single leg, like petit allegro, like that's incredibly intense, what we would call plyometrics, so jumping. So it's very high intensity. Like a lot of sports athletes will find that very tricky to do as well. And it's something we don't really think about learning about. Like we all roughly know how to jump, but there is a mechanism in place and how we jump and how we land, more importantly, as well. And it can be a high cause of injury too. So, and also it's not even for ballet focus as well. Like, you know, we walk and we fall and we land every single day when we walk in our steps. So, learning the correct mechanics of doing that hopefully will develop into our everyday life, but then also into our ballet performance too. So, there's a very like the two lines are very close with the strength and conditioning ballet. It's just that ballet, we just go through quite extreme measures in our body. We really test our body out, the leaps, the jumps, the lands. So by regressing it and understanding the fundamentals and seeing it from maybe like an easier lens, maybe to someone who doesn't do ballet professionally, then you can kind of see the vision of, oh, okay, so this is how my leg should work in this way. This is the kind of direction my body should be moving or how I distribute my weight in the correct way. And I mean, from my experience alone, I remember one thing you talk about is pull up being a massive thing, pull up. And then kind of taking that away into my own field, I'm like, okay, so what are we looking at anatomically that is this feeling of pulling up? So it's a lot of kind of investigating that area anatomically and going, how can we present it where we can develop that specific skill over and over again using regressive movements. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Iestyn. I'm not going to keep you long. So
That's
you're
good.
coming on the 19th. We're very excited.
Mm.
Obviously, you only have a 1 hour, quite short, intense course. Just almost like an introduction
Yeah.
to, how do you call it? Introduction to the Welsh adult ballet learners. What
Mm.
do you think you can provide in for that session? Are we expecting? Is there anything we need to bring? Is it something
Uh,
theory or?
I think honestly, it's just bringing yourselves. Like I'm gonna have equipment out in place anyway. But hopefully it's more of a almost like a slightly like a seminary. Like we're obviously gonna be doing a class and practical movements and stuff, but it'll hopefully be a more of like a educational thing as well in regards to saying like, okay, so how you know, how we can kind of do things that we can do at home, exercises we can do at home, which is conditioning, or at a gym, if it's, because you can also progress these movements. You could put assisted weights on or so on and so on. However, it's just like how can we kind of understand how our body moves in the correct way? Because all of our bodies are different too. Like everyone's hips are different sizes, everyone's mobility in their knees are different, everything. So how we kind of learn to understand how our body moves individually, and then what advantages do we have and what weaknesses can we improve on. So there's going to be a lot of very specific exercises, but a lot of them, everyone should be able to do them, and hopefully I'll be, I'll be showing exercises, the ways we can regress and progress them. And then eventually you can start saying, oh, wait, actually, this is exactly like a plie. This is exactly like how I would set up ready for a pirouette. It's all of these movements, hopefully, and these exercises you'll be able to do and take away and go, right, okay, I know how I can move my knee in the correct way so I don't feel that little bit of pain or whatever. So I think that's my main course of action for this hour is to hopefully show exercises that you can do at home and on a daily or on a weekly basis and progress those movements. And hopefully that will help your performance when they go to your class. So yeah, that's the aim of the goal of that hour.
So everything technically you will provide, you will have a rationale to, so
Yeah.
not the developing the strength or prevent injury, whatever you do will have a aim and objective to link into the ballet step. Is that how you believe what you're
Abs yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're definitely going to be, it's still going to be like it will feel like a fitness class anyway, but hopefully the way I've molded it will be specifically for muscle groups or movement patterns that will replicate what you do in dance. But it's just basically more of an understanding of, and also like using resources. Like, for example, like for pull up, I've really found in my own training that a lot of that development has come from using the floor, like using gravity as a way, as a tool. And hopefully that will be explained when we're there on the day. But we will find that we'll start to really understand, oh, okay, so that's what pull up it that's anatomically what my muscles are meant to be doing in order to pull up. So things like that is kind of what I'm trying to solve, that maybe that mystery for some people when they hear that kind of phrase or phrases like that in ballet. Is trying to tether those things together.
wonderful? So on that day, we have got a few male adult ballet students that signed up as well.
Mm.
Is there anything different for male adult ballet dancer to develop, such as, like you said, you took place in our Nutcracker, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. You did
Mm.
quite I wouldn't say heavy, but full-on classical pas de deux, and the male
Mm.
use the strengths very differently to female dancer in duet situation. Obviously, for female dancers, duet is an extension of what they do. But for male,
Mm.
use totally different muscles and way of using our body, isn't it? Especially you're pretty really good at partnering. Is there something to be able to provide something slightly different for the male students as well?
Certainly. I mean, I think, yeah, thank you for the compliment. Like again, like I was fortunate with kind of growing up as a kid. I was always someone that took maybe almost too seriously direction when I was given, especially on stage. There are some awkward video clips of me looking very serious doing dance moves because I want to get the things right. So I think that when it came to like lifts and stuff, it's very vital that not only you can lift the person, but the more efficiently you move, the less effort it actually takes to do. So I always joke that I'm almost like a lazy trainer because I'm trying to find the easiest way, which ironically ends up swinging around to being the most efficient way. It's like, how can we move the most efficiently so then I can I'm not struggling with every single thing that I'm doing. You can work hard, but it's working smarter, not harder. So when you talk about the male dances and lifts and stuff, I think definitely there are certain elements. Obviously, it's very rare in ballet when you see, maybe in contemporary you'll see a female lifting someone, another female maybe, but generally the men do the lifting. So it's very, very different. However, like we've gone over in pas de deux classes before, the woman has to also do quite a lot, a substantial a lot for that lift. Not first things first, they have to trust that person. So that's a huge thing. And then from there on, it's kind of just working with how gravity works, how physics work, like how, you know, if the ballerina were to has to approach the male dancer and jump, like having their foot close so then they can jump directly vertically, or you know the gent has to plie quite low, and it's there is an element of using your arms to hold the dancer, but generally a lot of it is leg and abs, stability. Like a lot of it is, the more you can use your legs, the less effort you have to do with your hands. And I've seen pictures of yourself when you've done your lifts, and I'm a lot bigger, but you were able to do incredible one-handed lifts, and I think it's because you understand your body so well. It's how you move efficiently rather than you know I'm not going to come in and be like, right, guys, let's get our biceps to 33 inches. That's not how ballet dancers are. It's just understanding how we move and how we move efficiently. So yes, for men and women, there will be different aspects for sure. I mean, one thing I'll definitely be going over, especially is like turnout, like the main principle. Like women's hips are naturally wider than men's hips. So the way our gait and the way we move is actually substantially different. However, in the fitness industry, I've tend to find now, especially in like a class environment, we generally go off the template of what a male would do, because often traditionally male teachers would be dominant. So, the movement patterns, and a lot of women would follow the same movements as male, where there's actually it needs to be slightly different. And that's the same for men as well. So definitely that will be something I'll really be highlighting, hopefully in the workshop, is, there might be some exercises where we'll do the same thing, but I'll be going over with the gents and going, guys, you need to maybe have your feet a bit close together, whereas you ladies, we need to, look after our hips and our knees a bit better. So there are definitely going to be elements for the male dancers that is going to be very different. And, I might chuck in some press ups or whatever, but generally it's going to be similar exercises, different executions on the individual, for sure.
Wonderful. Thank you, Iestyn. So this is the last question for you.
Yes.
So there are probably people wants to join the strength and conditioning as well as do a core workshop.
Mm.
Maybe they think, oh, it's a bit scary. I don't know. Iestyn can be scary. So for the people who's a little bit, I don't know, a bit anticipated, a bit scared, can you give them a message, something warm,
Absolutely.
something you do
Absolutely.
really like?
Yeah, I am terrifying. No, like the thing is, like I I like to think that I'm very approachable. As you guys may have noticed in this, discussion that I've just had with you, I talk a lot. So that might put you at ease in some way, because I will look like the fool in the workshop. I'll be the one talking a lot. So the pressure is off you in that way. I won't be coming up to you and if I, you know, putting the onus on you at all. But I always go off the fact that it's good for me as well, but it's also important for the members of the class as well to ask questions. And I try and make that environment as comfortable as possible. And it's more of a self-discovery that we can work together. It's not just going to be me being a dictatorship telling you what to do. Like that, obviously I'll have the class in place and the exercises in place. But when it comes down to it, like I say, I move differently to how you would move. We have different body shapes. So we're going to be discovering stuff together. So, as long as you're there, I'll do as best as I can to be as approachable as I can. And any embarrassments will be more on my end rather than the classmates' end. So, um, like I say, I've been with Daisuke for a very long time. I would say that I've taken a lot from your book. I mean, even sometimes the way I talk in my classes here back in Oxford, I hear your voice, which is very bizarre. Um, but generally, yeah, like hopefully you will find whoever the people joining the workshop are, that it's going to be a pretty relaxed environment. And then once that happens, then I'll start slowly pushing and seeing what we can do. So yeah, should
Wonderful.
hopefully be a great time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, let's have a great time, yes. And thank you so much for joining me today. And we cannot
That's
wait
all right.
inviting you in 19th of July.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a great time.
All
Awesome.
righty then. You take
All
care.
right.
We
Thank
will
you.
meet up at the dance studio.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to meeting everyone that's joining with us as well. It's going to be a great time.
Thank you, Iestyn.
Thank you. See you later
Bye.
then.
Love you. Bye bye
Okay,
bye.
bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.